Visiting with Kyle Carlesimo, originally from Seattle, came here after attending St. Thomas More Prep School in Connecticut. Kyle, I guess the first question is, what attracted you to Eastern, being on the West Coast and then coming from the East Coast where you played last year?
Yeah, so playing last year at St. Thomas More, like the first half of the year up until like Christmas, New Year's, my recruiting was still pretty slow, and then as it started to pick up, Coach Novsek and Eastern they weren't the first like specific school to reach out, but I really felt like they were the first school that was trying to develop a relationship and was like really persistent in keeping in contact and trying to recruit me. So that was really helpful. And then I visited and talked with the coaching staff, met some of the guys, and I felt like it's a place where I could succeed and hopefully turn the program around a little bit.
Before we started taping here, got a little background. You attended high school in Seattle,
Yep.
So the prep school was 1 year. What did you gain by playing in prep school for that 1 year?
So for me personally, out of high school, just as a product of COVID and just the way how everything shook out, I didn't really have many options to go to. I had one Division III offer and a couple other schools, and I was grateful for the opportunity, but I just felt like, I knew I could play at a Division I level. My dad, we talked about it, and he said prep school was an option. And coming from the West Coast, I didn't really know much about it, but it's big on the East Coast, so I trusted him and went over and spent a year in the middle of nowhere in Connecticut, and it paid off. So yeah.
Have you always played the point? That's the position you most played here at Eastern. Is that where you're most comfortable?
Not exactly. I would say I'm a true point guard, but just as a way of like how everything's shaken out in high school. The point guard on our team, he's actually the starting point guard at Colgate now, Braden. So we had two good guards, and he played on the ball, I played off the ball, and then last year at St. Thomas More, I played both. But I feel like I can naturally play the one or the two. Whatever the team needs, I'm game to do.
Yeah. What's been the biggest challenge coming from a prep school to Division I basketball? Realizing that was pretty good competition you played in last year also.
Yeah, I would say playing at like the prep school outside of college is about the highest level you can play. So I feel like that helped make the transition a little smoother. But obviously there's still a big learning curve. So just adjusting to the pace of play.
Let's talk about pregame routine.
Yeah.
Do you have a set routine every pregame in terms of your meal, in terms of quiet time, listen to music? How do you best prepare?
I usually always try to take a nap on game day at some point. I love taking naps, and then listen to music throughout the day. I just try to, I don't try to get too high or too low before the game, and then we have pregame meals as a team, so eat the pregame meal, listen to some music, try to lock in and stretch and get loose, and then get ready to play.
Yeah. How old were you when you first became interested in basketball? Who influenced you? And I think I'm going to know the answer to this, probably.
I can't even pinpoint when. I just feel like basketball has always been intertwined with my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a dream to grow up with the game and be able to have such cool experiences and learn from my dad also. So obviously my dad's been a huge help and role model in the game and helped me get into it, and then from as young as I can imagine, or from as young as I can remember, I've always wanted to play basketball. So yeah, it's been easy.
For those who don't know, your dad was an NBA coach at Seattle most recently, I believe, if I'm correct.
Well, he was the last coach of the Sonics, and then they moved to Oklahoma City the next year, and my mom was like, "Yeah, we're not going to Oklahoma City. We're going to stay here in Seattle." And then most recently, he coached with the Raptors and then the Nets. The Nets was the last team he coached, but he's been out of it for about 10 years now, 9-10 years.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm assuming you were hanging around the NBA locker rooms at an early age. Can I assume that?
I was. Yeah, it was a blessing, honestly, just to be able to watch, and not even just to be around it, but to you subconsciously learn things. You're watching the players warm up before a game, you're watching them practice. So I just feel without even realizing it, I was learning at such a young age that it's helped me as I've developed.
Do you have a favorite player? Somebody as a role model today?
On the court, I love watching Kyrie, Dame Lillard, and Steph. I feel like those are guys who've really mastered skills of, point guard basketball in general. So just watching them, especially when they're locked in, I feel like, it's just it's poetic almost. So I love watching them play.
Yeah. Let's talk about a little bit away from basketball. Have you do you have an academic major or an interest that you know where you're
Yeah, so
headed?
right now I'm at a sports management major. I didn't like coming in. I didn't really have a specific major I was attracted to, but I always felt like, you know, whenever I stop playing, I'll end up working in basketball or the field of sports somehow. So sports management felt like a natural step to pursue.
Yeah, I know you don't have much free time away from basketball, and if your family's watching, I know you want to tell them you're in the library 24/7. But those few minutes when you do have free time, what are your hobbies or your
Yeah,
interests?
my mom might not believe I'm in the library. Uh, Outside of basketball, especially in the summer, I play a lot of golf. Honestly, I played golf in high school for a couple of years, and honestly, if I didn't play basketball, I'd probably be pursuing some golf. And then outside of that, I just hang out, try to chill out, try not to do anything too crazy. Hang out with some friends, watch some TV. It's about it. Pretty simple.
Talking about TV, anything you're binge watching on TV or shows you?
Not
really follow?
recently. I've been busy. I mean, I've watched The Last Dance through multiple times. That one's hard to beat. And then, every time there's a new Netflix show, I'll check it out. But can't always. Depends.
Yeah.
I'll bounce around.
Speaking of Netflix, is there any movie that you watch over and over and over again?
Oh, there's a couple. I like some of the Quentin Tarantino movies. I like Django Unchained, Glorious Bastards are some good ones, and then The Departed's. Me and my buddies have watched that through on movie nights a bunch of times.
Yeah. So favorite entertainer, is that tied into your favorite movie? Or
I don't know. I guess I don't really have a specific entertainer. I'd say but I like just like kind of in everything. Like if someone's a great actor or a great entertainer, like I like watching just because people that are great at what they do are good to watch.
Yeah. Back to sports. Any favorite team on any pro sport, not just basketball?
Oh, I bounce around a lot. So for football, I'm a Lions fan, even though I've got no ties to them. Everyone assumes I'm a Seahawks fan, but I'm a Lions fan. And then for baseball, my dad grew up as a Yankees fan, so I'm a Yankees fan, and then a Mariners fan, obviously in Seattle.
So how did you become a Lions fan then?
It started when I was younger. I would always be the Lions on Madden, and I loved Calvin Johnson, so I just decided to stick with it, and I like the team, so I rock with it.
Yeah. My next question is, I think I'm going to know the answer since you alluded to golf, but a favorite sport besides basketball, or should I assume that?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly like, I like a bit of every sport, but, outside of basketball, golf, baseball, and football, I would say are the main ones that I really follow closely.
Yeah. If there's any one sporting event you could attend, what would it be?
I honestly feel like, so last year during the Final Four, Duke and Carolina played, and my dad was working the game, and I had just got off for spring break, so I was lucky enough to go to that game, and it was the craziest atmosphere I've ever seen for anything. So I feel like no matter how old I get or wherever I go, I don't think anything's ever going to top that game.
So you've seen it already, is what you tell me.
I mean, I hope something tops it, but I had no affiliation with that game, and and like you could feel the energy like in warm-ups throughout the game. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. Here's the tough question I always ask people, or maybe not tough, but the one that may be the most challenged. If there's any 2 or 3 people that you would most like to have dinner with, who would it be?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I mean, I'd have my dad and my brother there and my mom, just have family there too. And then, I don't know. I gotta have someone where I can learn from. Someone who I don't know. I don't have a specific person, but a dinner where I could learn a bunch of new things and, gain insight on something I don't really know would be something I'd go with.
Yeah. 5 years, where would you like to be, either in your professional career? And professional, I mean either maybe playing basketball or whatever work related, but where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully I'm still playing basketball, whether that's, in the States or overseas or anywhere. I'll play for as long as someone will have me on the team, I'll play, basically. And then after that, I always just figured I'd transition into coaching or working into basketball somehow. So I feel like that's my plan.
But till then, let's enjoy a few more years here in Eastern Illinois, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Kyle, thanks for the visit. Good luck to you and the rest of the Panthers this year.
Thank you.